Hello, I am Leave Nelson B, musician for Lonely Ghost Records, and this is Tellin with Alan. Here, we will go over recent Lonely Ghost releases, as well as those from affiliated artists, in a quest to get liner notes that you cannot get in a digital era. I hope you enjoy.
Think we're competing for that.
Well, I'm gonna go to bed after this so I can work a whole night shift.
Yay! Is that a Selena cup?
Oh, yeah, it is. My one of my coworkers went down to the monument and got and got this for me because I play Selena in the lab at nighttime. So
This looks like an ad placement. The way that you're holding that cup.
Selena gift shots.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's good. I like her. I grew up listening to her.
Selena was the shit because like she was like I guess like the logical step from like Gloria Stefan and her being so young and her owning her sexuality without like being an overtly sexual artist,
Hmm.
like that was something of itself, and to be so like iconically like large, to have like a like her album cover was just her and bra and some jeans or some shit, like, you know and not to mention like people who didn't speak like a Spanish, like loved loved Selena. So
Yeah. She died before I was born. But my dad uh played her constantly. Like he had every CD humanly possible. And that's what I grew up listening to. My
I mean,
first
Que
uh,
Crias and Como la Flores, like that shit goes hard, man.
yeah, yes it does. Correct.
But yeah, so this will be the third episode of my show. Um,
Nice.
welcome, Clarissa, to telling with Alan. Uh, welcome. You released a record last year, an EP.
I did.
Yeah, you did. It was a good one too.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, honestly, after Close to Now Whatever came out, I did not do anything for like a month. I did not do a song for like a month. Like I had to, like, I literally stopped what I was doing, like stopped doing anything in order for me to get back into like making music again. I built my computer that, and it was like, okay, I have to get back into this now. And 3.0 came out of me at that point, 3.0 and 3.x. So
Yes.
yeah, it was a busy year for me last year, music wise. 3 albums in 1 year. Holy shit, man.
Yeah. Holy shit is the correct answer to that. Like I I wish um that I had that kind of production, but I mean you killed it.
Oh yeah,
The
me.
hardest thing about being a creative is being consistent. No, not me.
I don't know, because after 1.0, like I went through some things and it wasn't really. I don't know. My mind wasn't set up in a way to tackle emotions like creatively. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And which now my mind is. Like, yeah, it's set up to for me to deal with things in that way. So that's probably why I have this creative boom that I'm still on. But anyway, enough about me. Why are we talking about me? Uh, okay, so it is my understanding that "Closer Now More Than Ever" is a record that happened suddenly.
Yeah, yes.
Like,
Um
could you speak on that? 'Cause I know you have like, records in a pipe ready. So what inspired like this to be recorded, be written, recorded, and come out before anything else?
well, the record that I've been working on for 2 years and still haven't released, there are some things that still need to grow in that. that album. And also just like I thought it would be a better move, to release something else. And I was definitely in the headspace to where I, felt that I could do that in the short amount of time that I had to do it. Um, and amid a very difficult primary campaign, I recorded and wrote this EP, Closer Now. Um, I don't know if I would call it sudden, like there were some songs. I think most of the songs on that EP were written, very loosely before, and then I spent maybe just a straight month every day after work, after 7 p.m., reworking and recording all of them. But I would define it like as a burst of like creating that I don't know I've done in a while, you know? Really moving to Austin, I think, was also a big push because I didn't have anyone to talk to or hang out with yet. And so I just put all of my feelings into putting out an EP.
All right, because stylistically, this is different than why'd you have to make things weird, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So, what was a change in like, was it a change in composition, or is it a change in recording situation, or were you just like overwriting songs like that?
I wouldn't say that I was overwriting songs like that or that I am currently overwriting songs like that. I think about everything that I create is in very clear reaction to my life. Like so when Why'd You Have to Make Things Weird came out, I was, you know, obviously feeling some type of way. Yeah, I was depressed and dealing with like the concept of sobriety and like tackling it and um, all of that. So, I mean, it channeled out into this like beautiful, sad record that I really, really owe a lot of my like. I don't know. It was the first EP I released under Holy Kerouac, like officially. So, and that one, was sudden too. I think I decided that I was gonna release it about 2 weeks before I actually sent it out for streaming services. So just life pushing at me and me reacting by releasing records. I think that's what it is,
Yeah,
really.
beautifully said is a good way of putting it, because that's how I would describe why'd you have to make things weird. It was closer to like the latter half of the last Radiohead album. Was it Moonshaped Pool? Yeah, Moonshaped Pool, which ended on True Love Waits, which is one of the saddest, if not the saddest, Radiohead song I've ever heard, and it's a very understated record, similar to Picture of Health, is on that one. But this is a much grander exposition, especially of your guitar playing. This is probably yeah, this is I probably really appreciated you as a guitar player more in this record than I have on previous records. And you start off right off the gate. What was it, Coolant?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Coolant
like
goes in
yeah, you
for
start
no
off
good
yeah,
reason.
start off with a pentatonic solo. So yeah, the can you so yeah, Coolant much more up tempo than your previous work. Can you explain the process for that song? That
Yeah. So what am I? So I think that like an important thing to outline when it comes to the CP is like when I first started doing music as Holy Kerouac, I had a lot of rules around it. Like, well, it's going to be synth heavy and it's going to be like vocal driven and it's not going to be punk because I've been, writing and recording punk-like music or rock music since, you know, I was like 15 and I want this to be different. But then I got to Closer Now more than ever, and I realized that that is a stupid rule because because I mean, I'm making music most of the time by myself, and then I would just leave these songs that I actually really enjoyed, you know, just in my drive, you know, like I wouldn't release them because of these rules. So I think Closer Now more than ever definitely broke all of the rules that I had set up for Holy Kerouac, and a lot of that came from validation from Superdestroyer, you know, um, and Lonely Ghost, just because like they really pushed the idea into my head that like genre isn't a thing and you can just make stuff that you like and release it and do that. So that was definitely something in my head when I went to record every song on this EP. Um, so yeah, that there's my preface to actually answering your question. Uh, Closer Now, Closer Now I actually recorded um, for a comp um, originally, and it was like really, it was supposed to be like 90s feel energy, and I was like, cool. I don't know how to channel that. I'm just gonna write something that sounds like I would listen to it. Um, yeah, so I just went in. My recording process, I think, is a little impulsive. So I just go in recording the music structure. Um, and if the melody doesn't like fit in by the time I have like half of the song done, I'll just stop. I'll just stop recording or messing with the song. So Coolant was an interesting one that I like gave myself permission to have like a simple structure, which is like just verse, chorus. Um, so that like structure being so easy, I think I was able to fit in, you know, a lot of like vocal driven stuff. So there's like an octave jump. There's just me screaming the whole time towards the end. And the guitar work, I mean, I think I was bullied when in one of my first bands about not being able to ride lead parts, and I took that very seriously.
Wow.
Took that very seriously. So like for a long time, I refused to write lead parts, and then when it got to Holy Kerouac, I was like, well, I'm the only fucking guitar player, so I have to write a lead part. It has to be good, or at least like something that I enjoy listening to. So that's the motivation for Coolant, really.
Because for me, like Coolant sounds like a duet between you and your guitar. You know what I mean? Like that's what it
Scream
sounds.
matches.
So I mean, I don't know, just like the guitar is just so front and center, like from the start of the song, and it just continues on, and you know, especially when you get to the chorus, it's still like
Yeah.
fighting for attention, and I love that dynamic that you put in there, and whoever, and I mean, I don't know if you mixed the record, but whoever mixed it, like they did a damn good job. And
Yeah, it was Daniel Lazandi, I think.
okay,
Um yeah, and he came from being recommended by Super Destroyer. Um and like I had never dealt with a third party, you know, like mixing my music. So I was scared, man. Was terrified. Like I didn't know, you know, the stranger is taking my baby and making it look different and sound different. And then I got like the second to last mix and I was just blown away. Really, like that chorus is just really layered and even. So good. So good.
wow, yeah, because yeah, the chorus effect on the guitar and your voice was masterfully done. and that came together really, really well. So the next song, Darling Number 5. This sounds like a song that will usually appear at the end of your records, but no, it's the second one.
I had a really good explanation, because like I think of every song is just like every song on this record, I think, is speaking towards the same situation that I was in. Um, and it's just at different volumes and with different like attitudes, I think. So I think of Coolant as being this like aggressive, like, um, in your face, like observation and feeling forward song. It's just loud, and it has like it just pushes through, like it doesn't have a spot for relief really, that the drums never stop. I don't think. So it's always like going forward. And then I think of Darling Value 5 as being like this collapsed version of the same song, like they're
It's like the stages of grief. Like you go through anger and
yeah.
acceptance, and like
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Like
yeah.
they are surrounding the same person or the same thing that I was going through, but they are like like different takes of it. But the same emotion I think still like emanates through the whole record. Um, and then it's really interesting to have like New Apartment like use both of the energies that come out of Coolant and Darling Value, because it is split in those parts.
I mean, New Apartment being my favorite song on this EP, possibly my favorite song of yours ever. It has to compete with Pictures of Health, like depending on the day. Because I really,
I don't know. Darling Value is like one of my, I think it's one of my best lyrically. And I do have a bad habit of like not, how do I say this? Like, it's not that I don't play the instruments, it's that like I really like moving very fast through my recording process. And then spending like a week or two after dealing with like how to actually rewrite the parts. Darling Value happened the opposite way, which is that I spent, two weeks, or no, maybe it was like a week working on the guitar part, and then months trying to like memorize it to where I could do it automatically. And then I finally got to writing lyrics, so I could play and sing it, because it is like a very difficult song for me on guitar. But yeah, that one had a very different and interesting process behind it. And then I'm a sucker for harmonies, so that last part felt really good to be able to put together in a beautiful way.
I don't know if you've heard of Steely Dan ever, but they had a record. I think Kid Charlemagne and I think Royal Scam is the record. No. A record with Feeling in the Years on it, and that's like their guitar record because Steely Dan is more like a adult contemporary band.
Okay.
If that makes sense, but they wrote this record and Reeling in the Years basically yeah, that starts off like it no other Steely Dan starts with like this wicked guitar solo that just wails. But you managed to like input your mastery in the guitar like in the first two songs of this record, and like I think every and there are two different strengths. Like what you have in Colin is one part of guitar playing, and what you have in Darling Value 5 is a whole other skill set, And I believe the next song, probably for me as a songwriter, that got me to compare you to like Brittany Howard. Yeah, Brittany Howard, and more her Thunder Bitch project more than Jamie, So
It's a big word.
I'm just saying how those records made me feel, and that's what it made me. That's what definitely New Apartment made me feel. That's what Darling Value made me feel. Was this holy shit? Like, like this is going places, and not to mention like the stuff that I heard from in record that we have not heard yet, but like.
Yes. Soon, I promise. I'm trying.
You need to release that record. you need to.
I.
You need to release that record, but
No.
but New Apartment.
New Apartment.
This epic of a track that definitely goes for ebbs and tides. It's very linear, probably your most linear song, besides I Was Paid to Write This. Yeah, because it definitely doesn't end where it starts. It's a journey of a track, and it's an emotional journey, like musically and lyrically. So, like, what is what? I know, no, not necessarily what inspired, but like, what was that? Was that on purpose for us to just be like a train going through many brick walls?
So New Apartment is one of the oldest songs that I have, that I still consider like songs that I enjoy, not just demos that I've thrown away. I wrote New Apartment this summer of 2017. And that feels so long ago now. And it was like just like very modern baseball, one guitar, one vocal song.
That's the like fourth time I've heard a modern baseball comparison to many different types of music in the last month or so.
I definitely like was learning a lot of modern baseball songs at the time. But yeah, like it was just a guitar and vocals, and it wasn't. I eventually took it to a band that I was in called Sala Sutra, and we made it a ballad. It was like a slow, like, slow indie song. Man, it wasn't really anything. It definitely didn't have the level of like punch that I think it does now. And when I started writing this EP, and my band Sala Sutra had broken up, I realized that I could not let that song die. I just like couldn't let it be like a fossil from another project that gets lost. So I took it on. I thought about a lot of ways that I could do it, and it like would give me anxiety thinking about the directions that I could go in. Like I could just make this a straight up like pop punk piece, or I could like just make it a soft thing, or I can do exactly what Sala Sutra did, which is like make it a ballad. And none of those, I couldn't decide. So I just started recording and put the pieces together very, very slowly. So I got to that part of it that turns into electric guitars and drums, and realized that that's what it had to be. Like I think it's a structure that we had in Sala Sutra to like pause there and then like come back in. So I decided that coming back in would require like a giant punch to the face. And so that part was born. And I didn't want it to be so soft all the way. So I added the electronic portions of it. Of course, my lovely little Yamaha reface came about to be used. And I don't know. It definitely just flowed. I think I had been with the song for so long that I knew how much I could mold it. I think sometimes with new music, I will get like nervous about direction, but that song, that's an old friend, and let it wear different hats, different parts of the song. And just as long as I felt good about it at the end, I think that's what I was aiming for, to do it justice.
I definitely do that. I did that with my first record, K Quick, and yeah, there was a song on there that I had for a while, and I did release it before. Yeah, I think no, I did not release it before actually. Yeah, I did not. So, but yeah, I playing it over and over again in your head, and having an intimate knowledge of what made this work and how it was built and what you have to do to restructure it and everything. Like that plays out over and over again, especially with a song that you like and this one that's like particularly sticky to you that you just want to get right. So I can definitely understand that. This song probably reminds me most of like Little Black Submarines by the Black Keys,
Okay.
or like because I like to say that New Apartment is probably when you went like full on Alanis Morissette when those drums kick in, and like that really surprised me. First time that song's probably the reason why I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing music. I'm not doing this. Why am I doing this? This just came out on the label, and I gotta follow the subs at some point.
Man, if you could have seen me the week that it was the Closer Now More Than Ever was released, you, man, I don't even know. I was in shambles. Like that is a we had two very similar reactions, I think. Like, no, this is bad. I'm not doing this anymore. For different reasons, I think, but still.
Oh, it's like when I don't know if that's happened since I got in this creative peak. Besides when Closer Now came out. Yeah, because yeah, this time, yeah, Alex came out between two of my records, and his first EP came out like a month after mine. I'm like, man, fuck this guy. Coming out with this professional sound and shit a month after month, not even a month. It was like 3 weeks. Like, like, oh shit, man. And then yeah, that's when short stories about ghosts came out, and yeah, I'm like, okay. Uh,
Yeah, I
no,
I had never been so like validated. Like being at Lonely Ghost, I think um just everyone who I showed the record to was just like, wow, this is like incredible. And I don't know, very, very soothing given that all these songs have like some sort of history or some sort of background that I think is a little complicated. It was really soothing. And eventually, like, one of my internet pals, like, did a cover of one of my songs, and I was crying because I didn't know that this, like, random music that I'm putting out could be impactful in any ways. Um, and New Apartment is like my baby, and I think like having New Apartment given a green light across the board, I mean, that's beyond what I thought would ever happen to it.
yeah, and I guess it'll be back in the public consciousness once I release 4.0 because I definitely, definitely touched that record. So, like,
um want to drop an Easter egg for New Apartment.
oh,
um
really?
so I did an interview when it was first released, because the chorus lyrics is like, empty rooms, white walls, Holy Ghost, and the change. And this guy that I was getting interviewed by was like, yeah, like Holy Ghost, like what an important piece, like, of like religion to draw into the idea that you're missing someone, and like how the Holy Ghost is a spirit between you and other people. And I thought it was an incredible analysis, like really, really away from the actual lyric, which is that I was in my brand new apartment, sleeping on a cot, with all the walls empty, and I was listening to Holy Ghost by Modern Baseball. So the lyric is actually Holy Ghost, like the fucking record. And it was interpreted as like this speaking to like this giant connection that we have with people. and it is my favorite thing in the world that
Hey,
that I know it's the record.
I actually interpreted it a whole different way. So,
Oh. See,
because
art is crazy.
for me, like New Apartment for me is a, and I'm not saying this is how you've written it. This is just how I interpret it because it was a song that I needed to hear, and the way that it struck an emotional chord with me is part of the reason why like there's no way that I could do this on my own. So I cannot write like this if I wanted to, and but like for me, it was like the shell of a person, the shell of your soul that is like missing parts of it now, being holy, like and your soul being the ghost, like that's what I that's how I interpreted it.
That's an awesome interpretation too. Like, god damn it, that's so cool.
But
Like
yeah,
I was just like an 18-year-old writing about the record that I was playing that I like. I think, oh no, I definitely bought it. I thought I stole it, but I bought it in like a Philly record shop, and I was so happy and about it. Took me a year to listen to it. That's like the contrast is so heavy there between all the interpretations.
well, when we have songs that like that, and there's very few songs like that, especially in the scene that we find ourselves in, you know, like because most of the time, like you see Year Endless, and it's like so it's like this isn't a record of the year, and like everybody like the fact that none of my free records made any Year Endless, and I'm surprised that like well, me like oh 2.0 is the shit. I cannot see how anybody cannot like 2.0. That is that will probably be my best album I ever do. Um, but like the fact that like this you have this new apartment and you have this EP that showcases all your different strengths, you know, culminating into Cave Then, like okay, the scene is not about the music now. That was my interpretation because New Apartment is a song that people need to hear and need to like give it that personification because there was an interview. I think it was like a Red Bull Music Academy. I don't know if you've ever seen those before,
I don't
but
think I have.
no, they're really cool. They're really cool, and it's just like songwriters that do because Red Bull does a music. Well, they used to do a music academy in which they pick a city, they get a facility, and they fly in like these different musicians to work together on projects, and they call it the Red Bull Music Academy. But in that academy, they have speakers and like lecturers. And LP from Run the Jewels did a lecture when it was in New York, and he had a song TOJ, and he's like, which is how I interpret it, something similar to New Apartment, where it's like a breakup track that people like. You get into a point in your life where you need to hear that being contextualized and given a new point of view or the opposite point of view. And he basically said like when you do stuff like that and it has a home, like that's where that emotion lives now. You put that in a box, you put that it has its best expression that it's ever gonna have.
Yeah.
And it has a home now. You know, if I need to go back to that, I can go back to that. But if not, you know, it's there. It's there. Other people can have that box and put whatever they feel into it. And that's I think something that New Apartment definitely accomplishes like in spades.
Yeah, I mean, like processing emotions through music, that like I think that's always been my draw to music and like poetry and all this stuff is that, you know, your body has a limit, your mind has a limit to how much it can like contain, and you get to this point where you need it out of you, and it has to come out. Like it can't just be, you know, at least for myself, it can't be like, oh, I'm gonna garden and that's gonna that's gonna be where these emotion lives. I think for me it was always like I need to spell it out, like I need to say it out loud, I need to say it in a way that feels right, in order for it to actually live outside of my head or my body or, you know, my emotional state.
Like I can't let this be a ballad.
Yeah, right. Like I can't let this die here. Like I can't keep it. So it needs to be away from me, and not even away, but like just in a tangible form that is outside of just like what's going on in here. And that's like, I mean, I remember writing New Apartment. I think New Apartment, one of the reasons I consider it like such a big song for me is that I remember having lyric ideas, recording in my small closet, and thinking like, I have no reason not to be honest right now. Like this song is not for any other person on the planet. It is just for me because I'm fucking feeling all of this weight from this experience, and it's been a year, and I need to get it out. And so I'm gonna say some shit that like maybe my mom won't like hearing, or my friends won't be comfortable with, but it doesn't matter, because it's not about them. It's about what I'm experiencing in the situation and how I can put it out. I think the lyrics in the second verse are some of the most honest lyrics that I've ever put on the planet. When the electric guitars come in, about using drugs to deal with a loss, and then realizing that that is not the healthiest way. I think I had just reached this point where it had to get out. So I love that song.
Yeah, it's definitely very cathartic. It's a very cathartic song, and
Sure.
yeah, very, and it's a journey. Like, and it ends, and it ends the best way possible, in my opinion. And there's a peacefulness to it.
Yeah.
But then you come back screaming and getting caved in. So
in that interview that I was talking about before, his analysis of it was really cool, because he talked about how the first three songs are this processing, right? This push and pull between missing someone and not knowing how to navigate those feelings, or not wanting those feelings, or being angry or sad and mourning it. And then Caved In is this like release lyrically. And I thought that was like, it's never my intention. Like that's what I think is funny. And Caved In is like the newest of them. I think I wrote Caved In December, early December.
it's only about a year old now.
Yeah, well, yeah, now, right?
Yeah.
And that was like a month before I turned in the tracks to be mixed. So Caved In is like in the way that I wrote this record, and lyrically it is like this like sum up of everything. It is this like conceding to like, yeah, I want to talk to you all the time, like I like miss you, and I like don't like missing you, and it's annoying, and I hope that I fucking am in your brain, that that the way that you are in mine. It's just like this release, I think, that Caved In ends up being. And Caved In, I think, does the like similar ways of dealing with different like moods throughout the song. So there's like the beginning that just like crashes in and builds up, and then there's this like drop, in the
And it's a calming drop. It's like,
yeah,
like, oh, I'm giving up this battle here for 2 seconds, like type of.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I think Caved In is one of my favorites too, just because I didn't think that I was, before writing that one all on my own, I didn't think I was capable of like bringing in a song that could really go back and forth. And have like a little guitar solo, because again, I never thought I could write leads, and then there was like a guitar solo that I really loved writing and playing.
Yeah, because I remember watching your Trash Ghost performance, and I'm like, this lady slays in the guitar, like like this is great. Like I never I never had an appreciation for your guitar playing until this record came out, and I feel bad that I had that I didn't.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I don't think there were many songs that you had listened to that really like showcased them very well. I think "Oh Little Bee" is the only song on "Why'd You Have to Make Things Weird" that has a guitar, and it's just like a floaty, like solo that's going throughout the whole thing. So, meh.
Yeah, but to go from like not having appreciation to like, oh shit, they slay. They actually slay the axe. This is slap me in the face like this. Like,
And that Trash Coast thing, just to like talk about it real quick, took me 2 entire days, like 2 full work days, I swear. And it was because the first like day that I worked on it, I had just not mic'd anything correctly. So it was just like incredibly hard to mix. So I had to like spend the first hour the next day figuring out a way to mic it that worked. And it still took me all day to record everything in a timely manner, in a way that I felt good about it.
as a student of an audio production class, I appreciate good miking because man, it takes forever. It takes forever to do. And once you get it, like don't move, don't breathe. I don't care.
Right.
Don't like I don't care. You gotta go to the bathroom. Well, here's a bottle. Like you're not knocking over this mic on the cymbal at all.
It was genuinely the hardest thing I ever had to do, and I still don't know if it like came out the way that I wanted it to, but I am super proud of that session. I think Darling Value took the most time, just because I usually don't play it on an electric guitar and the scale is smaller. So man, I struggled.
Yeah, I know a few chords on a uke. You know.
That counts.
Yeah, it's a process. Like the way that like I never like classically learned anything, so yeah, it's a process. Like I just usually do what sounds all right. You know, like I can play some things on a keyboard. That's because I have my own mental system. You know,
Right.
ask me to play a C minor 7. I have no idea what you're talking about. You might as well. You might as well ask me to play like Flight of the Bumblebee or something like that.
I definitely don't have that ability either. Like I have a general like play a D chord or a C on guitar, but I don't do extensions very well. About every musical like project or song or anything that I've ever done is just like me sitting in front of a computer and just full on winging it and like just aiming for good sounds. Um, and it's worked so far. As far as I can tell, it's worked out pretty okay.
So what are your thoughts on me? Like, oh well, first let me wrap up this record. So like, do you have any like thank yous you would like to address for this record?
Man, the Lonely Ghost family, very, very giant thank yous all around. I think there were a lot of moments where I was recording it and rewriting stuff, and I just thought like this is horrible, like it's no good, and every chance that anyone got to tell me the opposite, they took. And that just like made me feel very welcome and good and supported. Um, give it up to the city of Austin for closing down and stopping me from making the next album. So I don't know. I don't. Yep.
I have a cousin and aunt that lives in Austin, Texas. That have lived in Austin, Texas for like pretty much all my life. So,
I'm gonna retract that voting down comment. I think it was necessary and vital. It just made me sad and made music hard to do.
so what are your thoughts on? Like, can you explain the album cover?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
album cover is my product of my friend Robert Paris, who I met when I was throwing house shows in 2019. He's just been doing graphic design, I think, for years now, and I told him to, if he had any ideas, to shoot them my way, and he did. Um, it is not a picture of Jack Kerouac with a cigarette um, torn into pieces. Not.
Yeah, but yeah, I really love the art and the color palette. Like,
Yeah, Robbie's incredible. Robert Paris, everyone. Robert
the
Paris.
execution of this record, everything from the art to the music to lyrically, it is definitely. I definitely put this in the tier of Lonely Ghost records that I put like. I think our best record that we put out is oh, there we go. I have mine downstairs actually. But I definitely put. I think our best record is Funeral Home's Lavender House, and I definitely throw this
yes.
like literally that. It depends on a day whether this is my favorite one or Lavender House is, but this is definitely.
Lavender House is so ridiculously good. I think it was the first record that I that was released after I joined Lonely Ghost, and that I just sat with for such a long time. Like,
I still listen to that record. Like,
so good.
It really is.
So good.
Oh man, just waiting till you hear my my cowboy emoji rework. Oh
God.
man.
I love that song so much, and I'm incredibly pumped to hear your remix.
I did 2 songs from that record. I did 2. I did Cowboy Emoji. I did Dark.
Yes.
So we'll see how those turn out when I eventually do a release 4.0. But oh man, so how can people get a hold of you? How can people like follow you and stuff?
Twitter, Instagram, Holy Clarissa, and or Holy Kerouac. I tend to not use my artists' profiles. I don't know. Holy Clarissa, all around. Yeah. Internet's a big place. You can find me campaigning in Austin, sweating constantly.
That's what one does in Texas.
Yeah, sweat and do campaign work. That's me.
Saucy ass barbecue and. But thank you for doing this podcast of mine that basically was conceived like maybe a month ago to the day. Yeah, actually. Yeah.
For having me. I like talking. It's my favorite pastime.
All right, you have a good day.